open up that Crystal Pepsi and get comfortable.
This is Dope Nostalgia.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dope Nostalgia. I'm your host, Naomi. I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a long time, but hey, we're here. We're ready to do another episode with you. And I have a special guest today from another podcast called Rave and Drool Podcast. The amazing host, Tyler, is with me today to talk about Joey Lawrence, the big star of the 90s, mostly known for being on the show Blossom. But he did put out at least a couple albums back then. And the first one being quite successful. And that's the one we're going to talk about mostly today. So let's get into the Joey Lawrence chat. Before we do that, I just want to remind everybody that for only $1 a month, you can subscribe to Patreon at Dope Nostalgia and help support the show. You'll get early access released to the show, as well as some other perks and some merchandise if you are a longtime contributor. So you can check that out at patreon.com/Dope Nostalgia. Go over there and show your love for the show. We really, really appreciate it. Here's some background information on Joey Lawrence.
Wikipedia moment.
Please bear in mind that Wikipedia is not to be taken as actual 100% fact. Any donkey could edit it at any time. If I'm reading you the artist's bio, that stuff is real truth.
Joseph Lawrence Mignogna III. I hope I said that right. I'm trying to sound it out. Mignogna. He was an American actor, musician, singer-songwriter, record producer, podcaster, and game show host. He's a busy guy. He was a child actor in the early 80s and portrayed Joey Russo on Blossom and Joe Longo in Melissa and Joey. He also starred in Give Me a Break in the 80s and the series Brotherly Love with his real-life brothers Matthew and Andrew. His film appearances include Summer Rental in 85 and Oliver and Company in 88. Lawrence was born and raised in Abington Township, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb of Philly. He is the oldest son of Donna Lynn, who is a personal manager and former elementary school teacher, and Joseph Lawrence Magnolia Jr., an insurance broker. He is of Italian, English, and Scottish descent. And his family stage surname was changed to Lawrence during his childhood when he started acting. He has two younger brothers, also very well known, actors Matthew and Andrew. Joey graduated from Abington Friends School in Jenkintown, Pennsylvania in 1994 and later attended the University of Southern California. Now, he was an actor. There's a lot of acting information you can check out, but we want to talk about his music today. Lawrence has said that music was always his passion, and at the height of his success, he began a recording career. Joey was 16 when his debut album, Joey Lawrence, was released in February of 93. Produced by Steve Barry, Tony Peluso, Terry Lupton, and Ian Prince. Joey co-wrote some material, including the international hit single, Nothing My Love Can't Fix, which hit number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 Airplay chart, and a bunch of other really good charts too. The song was used as the end title theme from the film Cop and a Half. Its music video received heavy airplay on MTV and Much Music, and Lawrence was invited to perform live on MTV's Spring Break, the Arsenio Hall Show, and the UK's Top of the Pops in 1993. In June 2011, he released a single, Rolled, which was available as a free download for 1 week on ABC Family's website. In July, Joey released a second single, Give It To Ya, via Pledge Music. In 2017, Joey started a band with Matt and Andy called Still 3. They released a debut single called Lose Myself. Nowadays, Joey launched a podcast called Brotherly Love with his brothers, Andrew and Matthew. It was launched through Podco, a podcast studio launched by actress Christy Carlson Romano, and focused on rewatches of completed television series by their former actors. I want to welcome Tyler to the show today. Once again, he's from the Rave and Drool Podcast. And he's got so much to talk about with about Joey today. So let's welcome Tyler to the show. I want to welcome you, Tyler, of Rave and Drool Podcast, to Dope Nostalgia.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. This is very dope indeed.
When did you get started with your show?
It started out with, I tried to make a documentary, like a film documentary for like 10 years ago or something like that. And shot 30, maybe 30 interviews, something like that on camera. And then I ended up ultimately we weren't able to take it to the next level.
Mm.
So 3 or 4 years ago, I decided to kind of stop that pursuit and then turn it into a podcast in which what is different from what the film would have been. The film would have been, like a wide view of the 90s in Canada, alt rock kind of scene. But this one, you're kind of telling more individual stories. So I've been kind of doing, the podcast started off kind of bi-weekly, and then, life kind of gets in the way and stuff like that. So I still turned into kind of a few episodes a year now, but I still kind of update the social media and keep that more active. I have a lovely girl helps me in Winnipeg, kind of keep the social media active too, with a lot of cool tidbits and trivia and stuff like that.
That's one thing I really noticed about you right off the bat was on Twitter, X, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have a very engaging social media, and you ask a lot of questions of your listeners and keep them, you know, interested. I found that really cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just interesting. Eric Alper does a lot of questions, and I just rephrase them with like the hashtag Canadian in front of them. And then, because I feel like the music here doesn't get celebrated maybe enough as it should, even by Canadians sometimes. So I try
Mhm.
to make the answers to the questions specifically Canadian to kind of celebrate some of the records from this country.
Yeah, Eric Alper was a guest on the show too. I remember getting him on because he was helping me find people, and I said, I actually want to interview you as
Yeah,
well.
for
So,
sure.
so that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was totally bizarre because I interviewed like Tom Wilson from Junkhouse, like, I don't know, this year or late last year, something like that. And then he's like, yeah, I'll get my publicist to email you, whatever. And I'm like, totally cool. And it was Eric Alper. I'm like, hey, Eric
Yeah,
Alper. That's wild.
very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. You got Tom Wilson too.
Yeah, he's great. He's a super nice guy. He's been a supporter of the accounts for quite some time. He's retweeted a few things and liked a few
Mm.
posts. So he's very cool. Yeah.
What's been a favorite episode for you that you've produced?
Um, uh, well, all the Canadian ones, I can't really go one or the other, but like I do the odd special presentation, as I call them, where I just kind of talk to people who aren't really 90s or Canadian, and but people that I really dig and that
Mm.
don't get celebrated enough. Maybe so I did two of those. I did one with Steve Harley, who just recently passed away. He's a UK guy from the 70s, and so I was able to do like two sessions. Um, so he gave me like 4 hours of his time, and it was just like unbelievable. And then, 'cause he's such a brilliant storyteller as well as musician and vocalist. And then one with Keith Hampshire, who was a Canadian guy, but he only made two records, and he has like one of the best voices you'll ever hear. Like he did the definitive version of First Cut is the Deepest. Like
Mhm.
he's the one you hear it in Safeway and stuff like that. Like his is the
Oh.
song. And he did like Big Time Operator and Daytime, Nighttime. Like these are like huge radio songs, and nobody really knew his name, I thought. So I thought
Mm.
it'd kind of showcase his record. And so he was generous, gave me a couple hours. So, but yeah, it's hard to pick from the Canadian 90s stuff because they're all really special because that's all the stuff I grew up on. So those are all, each and every one's awesome.
Hence why we do these shows. We grew up on
Absolutely.
this. And I
Yes,
think it's so
indeed.
funny when you said Safeway because we were just having a conversation with my friend Colin, who's been on the show many times. He texted me from the grocery store and said they're playing Bon Jovi.
Nice. What do,
He's like, how old do you feel right now?
I tell you, like it was just like yesterday, I think. Literally yesterday, I was driving my mom on some errands and stuff like that, and I have the Keith Hampshire on the iPod that we have hooked up to the radio in the car, and First Cut as the Deepest came on, and we were rocking out to it, and then literally we were stopped at Safeway to she wanted to pick up a few things, and it was on the Safeway. I was like, hey, we were just listening to that in the car. So it literally just happened yesterday.
I want to make sure too I pronounce your last name right. Is it Eleniak?
Close, Elenik.
Elenik.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
Easier. I
Yes.
made it more difficult. Okay.
Yes, people do. Yeah, it's not an easy name. It's not very phonetic. So you just
I
kind of go
think
with
if
the
you
flow.
mentally take the U out, Elenik.
Yeah, I think even Elenik's pronounce it differently. So, but that's the way I
Okay.
like to roll with it. So, yeah.
um, I have a few Canadian acts in mind that I wonder if you remember because you know so many of such
Mhm.
a wide amount. So I wanted to bring up their names.
Sure.
World on Edge.
Roll on Edge. This one, you're stumping me. Is that 80s? No, that's got to be 80s.
It was early 90s.
Early 90s. That's got to be pop then, or
They
dance or
op-
something.
they
Can't
were
be,
a
can't be
pop
rock.
rock. Like
Is it?
it was like four guys,
Huh.
long hair. So they were, but their sound was almost more like pop rock than straight out head rock, but they were an actual
Interesting.
band. They opened for Roxette on their tour across Canada in 92.
Yeah, see some of that. Like I was 78, so some of that really early 90s stuff I'm not as familiar with because, like I said, I was still listening to, like, I'm an only child, so I didn't have like big brothers or sisters kind of grooming me. So it was like
Mhm.
much music and MTV. So it was, New Kids on the Block and all that kind of stuff, and Milli
Yeah.
Vanilli, man, and all that was my joints back in the day. And then, so like the early 90s stuff always surprises me. Like Harem Scarem's like a 90s band, but you think of
Yeah.
them more as an 80s band. So like I'm not as familiar with those early cuts, to be honest.
Harem Scarum is a good band too. I love them.
Mhm.
But you were born in 78 and so was I.
Yeah,
So
right. So yeah, we park our
that's good.
cars in the same garage. And
That's right. I like that. Okay, what about Jane Child?
Jane Child, no. You're the facade of me being some sort of 90s expert is quickly being shattered. So you have to edit all these portions out of the podcast. I'll give a rep to protect, you understand?
Don't worry.
No, yeah, no, that's good. I'm always looking to learn. It's wild. Yeah, I'm still finding artists and stuff, even like late 90s artists or mid 90s. I'm still finding
Mhm.
stuff I didn't know about, that didn't get like even the break to get on Sonic Onion or something like that. Like, but still made records, stuff like that. So the pursuit is always on, and you're still finding nuggets. So then I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought those up. Yeah.
Yeah. But to talk about our main subject today,
Yes.
was huge teen idol.
Mhm.
Mostly for the fact that he was a TV star on the show Blossom.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Lawrence. Now, why
Yes,
did you pick Joey?
I actually always been a fan of Joey.
Mhm.
Followed his career even as like a little kid on Give Me the Break. He was in this flick called Pulse. He was
Mm.
in a John Travolta film called Chains of Gold, which was a kind of like a dramatic turn before John Travolta's Renaissance. And then he
Ah,
gets on Blossom. And of course, I'm watching that, every week, right? And
right.
then so how the music came is that they ended up dropping the video for Nothing My Love Can't Fix at the end of a Blossom episode. And I was all in, man. I'm buying the record the next day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I remember my friends really liked it and we listened to it. But Joey, in preparation for this episode, I did some YouTube rabbit holes last night and I watched him as a 5-year-old kid as a
Mhm.
guest on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Yeah, that was his big break. Yes, indeed. Yeah. He's sitting there rocking the mic as a little tyke. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the tap dance on,
Mm-hmm.
and he was very engaging and cute and sweet and ready to be a star.
Yeah, talented dude from day one. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep, talented family. He's
Oh,
got
yeah.
2 brothers who are in the game with him.
Yeah. And check this out. You'll appreciate this story. And none of them ever got in trouble. No tabloid headlines, no drug issues, right? Always, raised well. And then I was living in LA for a few months, I don't know, 10 years ago or something like that. And Joey was filming Melissa and Joey with Melissa Joan Hart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to a taping.
Oh,
And for
cool.
whatever reason, through interviews or something, because they're all, they're, like as you mentioned, they're a very family-oriented family. And I actually, by happen chance, ended up sitting beside Joey's mom for the taping. And I'm like, aren't you Joey's mom? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, to this day, she still goes to every one of his tapings just to support her sons and stuff like that.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
And then I
love
was
that.
like talking, I was like, man, I was talking about the music, right? I'm like, even that second record, I said, there's a track called, I said, forget how it goes. I'm not as familiar with the second album, but I still own it and dig it. But I started like reciting like part of the chorus, and then she like finishes it and she's like dropping every lyric. So she's like all in, man. It was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember. And then the other YouTube video I saw that actually shocked me a little bit was his interview at Much Music with Steve Anthony.
I don't
Did
think
you
I've
see
seen
that?
No, I don't think I have.
Now, Steve Anthony was a very well-known and talented Much Music VJ.
Oh, for sure. Legend in the game.
Absolute legend. I agree. In this video, it was shocking to me because he seemed really off that day. He was, I hated his interview with him. He was awful to Joey.
See, I don't care for that. So,
Yeah, it was really weird. Like he wasn't like mean to him, but he just seemed like he was out of it, Steve.
man,
And
maybe
I was, and you see all the comments on the video too. They're like, everyone's like, "What's wrong with this interviewer?"
huh?
And I'm like, "This is so weird for Steve Anthony." Anyway, Joey handled it like a professional.
He's a pro, indeed. Yeah, yeah. I don't like
100%.
that. I'll have to look that up, man.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
he's like
this,
starstruck. So he's overcompensating.
I don't know.
Like, I want to
Yeah,
look like a fan, but I actually secretly am a fan. So I want to try to play it cool. You're
yeah.
overcompensated. It's too
This
aloof for some.
this interview took place around the time that the first album came out.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
See,
he was,
I think there's a lot of pushback. I think with like actors trying to be musicians, and people don't think they're legit and all this kind of stuff. But like people don't realize, like on that first record, like Joey has a writing credit on 10 of the 12 tracks. Like,
yep.
like there's like some piano stuff that he wrote in his bedroom, and they just worked him up in the studio. Like the guy's like legit, man.
I think he was probably a musician before he was an actor.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think is like I watched some of that brotherly love podcast that they do,
Mm.
and they talk a lot about their growing up and family and stuff like that. And I think his dad was actually like a singer, and so like when they go to auditions and stuff like that, they were always singing in the car, and that's really the base of it.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I never did watch Melissa and Joey.
Oh, you missed out, man. It's on the
Yeah.
Disney Channel. You should check that out.
Oh,
Like
and
I
Reruns?
really wasn't familiar with her career. Like I never watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I just knew of her.
Yeah.
But then I watched it because Joe was in it, and then yeah, it's great stuff. Funny.
Wow. Yeah, no, that album came out and I remember the second single I remember I totally forgot about until I watched the music video yesterday and it was a song called I Can't Help Myself.
Oh, great song.
That song's even better.
I agree. It opens up the record, and that's just a hot jam out the gate, man. I agree 100%. Yeah, for sure. And that one's like the only like the songs that people think of when they hear of like Joey's music is like Nothing My Love Can't Fix and Stay Forever. But I Can't Help Myself was probably the strongest of those three tracks.
I agree. I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, oh, I'll re-add this to my Spotify playlist if it's out there because it's
there's
pretty good.
cuts on that album that like Just Another Love Song, which is like very, it's at that same level. And it was like just a deep cut. It was never a single. And there's like, people don't to me, that's like one of the most underrated records in general. I mean, if I'm taking two albums from 1993 to Desert Island, it's Joey Lawrence self-titled and Pearl Jam Versus. Those are the two.
That's
Non-Canadian,
awesome.
of course. I mean, I can't, non-Canadian albums. I should clarify. That's
Yeah.
stupid. But yeah, if I'm taking two non-Canadian albums on my Desert Island from 1993, it's Pearl Jam Versus and Joey Lawrence. Can't
Nothing My
live
Love Can't Fix.
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate 90s video.
Oh, it's great.
He had
Yeah.
that signature look about him where he wore the leather jacket, but he always had like the plaid jacket also tied around his waist with his ripped jeans.
That's it. And the motorcycle boots, man.
Totally.
Oh yeah, it's a great video, man. So many colors, bright, fun video. And the thing is, I mean, about that record too, since that is the topic, is that people don't realize he wrote that record. He was like, 14 to 15, I think. He recorded it or something like that. And it's a very mature sounding album. But even the vocals don't sound like a teeny bopper. They're much more developed than I think people realize. Track like In These Times is a very politically conscious track. So yeah, like I can go deep on the album, man. It's my
Go
number.
for it.
It's in there. I just recently picked up the LP, the vinyl version, which was only released in Brazil. So I finally secured a copy for my record player. Very excited last year.
What's your vinyl collection like? Huge?
No, I started out pretty huge. Like, I don't know, 10 years ago, I was just going on Discogs and buying like every Snow album I could find, and Murder Love and 12 Inches. And
Nice.
I've cooled down on the vinyl buying as of late, just because the job I have, I just listen to music all day and podcasts. So when I get off, I just kind of relax. I don't buy as much vinyl as I used to, unless it's like the new Pearl Jam or the new, then I'll get in just for kind of completist sake. But yeah, but it's pretty solid. I mean, I got about, I don't know, 100 records on easy access, and then about 200 in kind of other cupboards and stuff like that.
That's a pretty decent collection.
Yeah, it's sizable. A lot of 90s stuff for sure. For sure. Very excited on the issue of vinyl is that Salmon Blaster just dropped their their album on vinyl for the first time, and there's actually their unreleased second album on that as well. That's pretty cool.
I don't know of them. Are they a Canadian group?
Yeah, you should check out the song called Freeway. It's like a staple. You will love it.
Yeah.
Love it. They made one album and they broke up. But
When was
check
it?
out it's been like 96, maybe 97.
Okay.
Yeah, Freeway. You'll love it. You'll just listen to it 5 times in a row. Trust me. It's
There's a good tidbit, everybody. Salmon
Yeah.
Blaster.
Freeway Salmon Blaster. Check it out if you're not familiar. Yes, indeed. Yeah, you'll listen to it on repeat. Such a good song. Then you dive into the album, and the album's solid as well. It's a shame that didn't work out for those guys.
I'll check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Nothing My Love Can't Fix, I was listening to the rap at the end.
That's right.
And these lyrics, I died. This is so great. The part that says that we were meant, girl, me and you, but lately you've been acting like I smell like a zoo.
I know.
Philly
I know.
Zoo, to be exact.
That's
and hey,
indeed.
Philly is my origin, as a matter of fact.
That's right. Let's get back to the subject at hand. Yes, I'm familiar. Yeah, I know. And I'm burning that question too. I said, what exactly is that referencing? So it's got to.
I wonder how many people have said to him, you smell like a zoo.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope to get Joey on the podcast one day. And then Joey, if you're listening, it's at Rave Drool. I follow you on the Instagram, RAVEDROOL. Let's do it, my friend. Let's take a deep dive on this record and celebrate it as it deserves to be. Yeah, no, yeah. The lyrics are good, yeah. But I mean, I would hold his rapping. I mean, you're kind of snickering there, but I would like to see a rap battle between him and Donnie Wahlberg, because your boy there, Donnie, also was not afraid to rap back in the day.
Still isn't.
Some say they're still at that same level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I got a question for you, actually, about the new kids, because I rarely get a chance to talk to a new kids expert.
Okay.
And I'm not.
I like to be in that category. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I see the social media posts. You're at the events and you're in there. You're doing the podcast. You're definitely an expert. Now, Jonathan and Danny.
Yeah.
Can you tell when they're actually singing on any of the songs?
Yes.
I
Well,
cannot, like, unless it's like that solo, like a Happy Birthday or whatever he did on Step by Step. One of them did like a solo deal. I can't.
Yeah.
It's usually just the 3 of those guys all handling all verses.
It's true. It's true. I can hear their solo parts though, but the thing is you're right. If it's layered into a harmony or whatnot, I really can't tell.
Yeah. But I've always been surprised that even on,
but
like,
they do sing on everything, apparently.
Apparently, right. But this is what I'm saying. Apparently, like, I was surprised that even on the comeback, they weren't like, okay, let's try to make it more even. But it's still those top 3 guys singing everything, or 90%, 95% of everything. So I'm just wondering if what the general consensus in the new kids fandom is on that issue.
I know, and I do think because Jonathan's so busy in other aspects of life, like with his HGTV show and his real estate and whatnot. I do believe that when he comes back to do new kids stuff, that he's just enjoying the company and the friendship and the fun with the fans. I don't think it really matters to him that much if he gets leads or not. But on the new album that just came out, literally like last week.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they had their first new album in over a decade. Called Still Kids. But there is a song that Joey wrote for Jonathan to sing, and he does, and he's the lead, the whole thing. And
this makes me happy. Yeah, right on.
It's a beautiful song. It's called Better Days, and it's about his relationship with him and his husband.
Huh.
It's really nice.
Yeah,
and
it is very cool.
John sang he did great. He sounds wonderful. So
yeah, exactly. Like the guy, that's what I'm saying. Like him and Danny can sing. Like I just don't know why. Even back in the day, they weren't like allowed to. This is because it was just fascinating to me, that whole dynamic.
Yeah, I don't really know what behind. I know, you called me the expert, but I don't really know what they do behind closed doors when it comes to choosing parts and what they're actually singing in the harmonies and the choruses and whatnot. But apparently they are definitely part of it.
Yeah. No, I don't doubt it. I'm just, it's always just been an interesting idea to me, just the dynamics of how 5 people in a group and then 3 kind of be the front people. It's interesting. Yeah. So I thought you might share some insights. I appreciate you discussing that.
Of course. I'm always here for any of your new kids' knowledge. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll be dropping you up. I got some burning questions, but that was always the top of my head when it came to it. So I was like, this is my girl. She'll figure it out.
I'll be June 13th. I'll be down for the beginning of the Magic Summer Tour.
Oh yeah.
And I actually have it's called an individual meet and greet with them. So I will be just me and the 5 of them.
Oh, no way. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Very, very excited. So
yeah, I would be too. Very cool. Are they doing signings and stuff, or is this photos or
photos?
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Photos.
Who are they taking on the Magic Summer Tour?
Paula Abdul and
nice.
DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Oh, and so how long is the set do they get then? Is it like an hour? Or?
Well, it's going to be different than the mixtape tour because the mixtape tour was like basically like a mixtape. Literally, they'd do a few songs. Salt and Pepper would do a few songs. And Vogue, Rick Astley, that was the last mixtape tour. So they just kind of like go back and forth. This is going to be like your traditional opener.
Okay.
And then we're not sure yet how long they're going to be on stage for, but we'll see with new material too. And it's an outdoor tour.
Oh, cool.
So it's all amphitheaters.
Oh, nice. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's speaking of tours, is that like I don't know why Joey Lawrence is not on I Love the 90s tour. He is the perfect guest for that tour. He can actually MC the whole thing as well. He could sit there because he can, host things as well. And check this out. Like, it's not on Spotify anymore. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it's a rights issue or something. But like a decade ago, or maybe less, he covered Ice Ice Baby with like a female friend of his or a girl he likes, an artist or something like that. I forget her name. But yeah, he covered Ice Ice Baby, which is kind of strange. So I was just in my heaven there. I was like, these are my two guys going with voices, man. Pretty wicked.
Why is my baby blue? I can't see the color of a sunny day. Stuck in that point of view. What can I do to take your tears away? Oh, not denying there's a time for crying. Just tell me why you look so sad tonight. I know it's crazy living in the world these days, but if you take me by the hand, there's nothing my love can't fix for you, baby. I'm positive of this, I'll tell you. There's nothing my love can't fix for you, baby. Ah, girl, please listen real carefully now.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi. If you enjoy Dope Nostalgia, thank you. Consider becoming a Patreon subscriber today for as little as $1 a month. It helps keep the show on the air and rolling. So if you want to check out our Patreon, it's at patreon.com/dope nostalgia. $1 a month, and you'll be helping support one of your favorite podcasts.
Hey, yo, what the business is, people? This your boy DC, host of What the Shit podcast. And if you're asking yourself, what is What the Shit? It's pretty much going to your favorite barbershop, your favorite hangout spot, getting with your people and being able to talk about any and everything, no topics off limits. Anybody can get these jokes. And the best part is we have some dope guests who get to tell their story their way and get to entertain you. It's full of jokes, full of laughs, and full of entertainment. We try to make sure that you're having the best day every day. Catch us every Wednesday live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch at 8:15 p.m. EST. And then you can also make sure to follow us on every streaming site as Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Amazon Music, and pretty much everywhere you can get your stuff. And I can guarantee you, if we don't make you laugh, you ain't been paying attention. So listen to What the Shit on all your dope police streaming platforms, and back to Dope Nostalgia.
ABC Friday, get ready for a monster night of TGIF.
It's a way cool Halloween bash.
It's the scariest night of the year, and we have the Queen of Halloween brewing up a frightfully good time.
Dig up some friends and join us.
And what could be scarier than two Urkels? Family Matters. Then Eric's living his own nightmare. This girl won't leave him alone. Boy Meets World. And what's a witch to do when she's invited to two parties? Body double.
I look really cute.
Sabrina. Then it's like a totally freaky Clueless. TGIF. It'll make you howl. ABC Friday.
I wonder how focused he is now on music compared to acting, because it would be wonderful if he was back into the music game more at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's yeah, absolutely. Like he's kind of dribbles out, or not dribbles out the right word, but he puts out songs every so often, but not like a full record.
Mm-hmm.
And him and his brothers put out a song a while back, and I mean they're doing the theme song for the new podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And when you listen to the podcast, they're always referencing like a song or going to the studio or this and that. So I think that he still loves to do it. I just don't. Yeah, I just love to see him kind of put both feet in and just take a hard run at it and do something like the I Love the '90s tour, which I think he would be perfect for, because he does represent the '90s in a lot of ways, just as an actor, like on the television show, and then
Mm-hmm.
the music as well. And like, I mean, if that record, I think, just was kind of wrong time. I think it's 5 years maybe too late and 5 years maybe too early.
Mm-hmm.
It was like right in the heart of like grunge and stuff like that in '93. So they weren't really, they were like, the new kids were feeling that pain as well with like what Face the Music around '93, '94. So
Mm-hmm.
people weren't responding to that kind of just kind of fun pop music the way they were
Yeah.
when Backstreet came around, and the way they were when New Kids were in their heyday. So just kind of a victim of bad timing on his part. And I think that's a bit of a shame. And that's why I think he had a follow-up that took like 4 years or 5 years to come out. So
I
yeah.
did hear a song, I think it was in the 2000s though, called Rolled.
Yeah, that's right. That's on Spotify. Yeah.
And it sounds so much like My Love by Justin Timberlake, the instrumental part of the song.
Interesting. I don't
I
know
was-
much of Justin Timberlake's work, so I could make the.
Yeah, I feel like it was pretty heavily, like Rolled might have been heavily influenced by that. It's got that Timbaland production kind of sound, but I don't believe that Timbaland was involved in it. So
Like I do know that just from the podcast that Joey is a big fan of Justin Timberlake's music, so he definitely probably would have been influenced on him.
yeah, it makes sense.
Brought him up a couple times in some of their discussions that they have.
Yeah, that song came out in 2011 and it was available as a free download for 1 week on ABC Family's website.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he seems to have always kind of incorporated his music releases with whatever acting gig he's doing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm. And so speaking of Joey, Matt, and Andy, the three of them, like we've mentioned, the podcast Brotherly Love is great. It's a very positive show. And of course, I've listened to the episode where they interviewed Donnie Wahlberg.
I haven't got to that one yet. See, I'm trying to go in sequence. So I'm looking forward to it because Donnie's like my guy. Of all the 5 new kids, he's my jam. Rough, rugged, and raw, Donnie Wahlberg. So I'm excited for that, but I haven't. So no spoilers, please.
There was no spoilers. But I'll just say it was a really positive episode.
Yeah, in general, I mean, they're just like 3 positive dudes, man. I mean, and they're really open. I mean, they're not afraid to talk about really, anything. I mean, they're not afraid to tell embarrassing stories and positives. It's interesting to see those 3 guys, because rarely is it that you see like 3 brothers in the industry be that friendly. Like, I don't think you're going to see the Baldwins ever do a podcast called Brotherly Love.
Not at this point, no.
So I think that's you're not going to see Eric and Julia Roberts ever do a podcast called Sibling Love. It's very rare, I think, that you see maybe the Wilsons. Maybe that's another exception, but
You know who else does one? Oliver and Kate Hudson.
yeah, but who's Oliver?
Sibling Revelry, it's called.
Yeah, but Oliver's not famous. I'm talking about people with
Oliver-
egos. I've never even heard of the dude till like literally like a month ago.
I first
I didn't
learned
know he
about
existed.
Oliver because of the TV show Nashville. He was a cast member on that.
Oh, was he? So is he just getting into the business then or something? Or?
I don't know. Maybe he's always had these roles and we just never noticed.
So what is the dynamic with Kurt Russell? He's not the father of either of them. Is that right?
That's
Or he
right.
is?
It's somebody with the last name Hudson.
So he hooked up with Goldie when she already had 2 kids, but I thought they would be together longer than either of those kids are alive. Seems like they've been together forever, him and Goldie.
It seems like they've been together forever because
she must have hooked up with Mr. Hudson, and Mr. Hudson and her had 2 kids.
Mhm.
They must have been like 2. And then Kurt comes in and busts up the whole thing. I don't know. I always wanted to Wikipedia, but I always forget.
Go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I might have to.
Put it on your to-do list. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, what else do we say about Joey here? I know that he had 2 albums out in the 90s. In 97, he came out with the album Soulmates. And that's another thing, timing-wise, 97 wouldn't have been too bad because that is kind of when the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney Spears were ruling the charts. So that not like they were just starting to come out.
Right. Although that record is a little bit more darker than the debut album. I mean, there's like a track called So Much Pain on it. And, you know, it's like half ballads, half kind of faster upbeat tracks. When the other one was kind of like, you know, 10 out of 12, like 85% kind of more danceable stuff. So I think that's just, it was a changing. If it had been like a kind of a direct sequel to that first record, again, like you said, it might have been a touch early, but if anybody out there is interested in Joey Lawrence's deep cuts on the second record, I highly suggest Me and You might want to be my favorite song on the second album. I think that was the one that Donna was rapping the lyrics back to me on, his mom. Yeah, Me and You. It's a nice ballad. It's like
I'll play a clip of it.
Love will carry us through forever. I know times are changing, things aren't always what they seem, but baby, let's work as one to find your eyes to make things better. Cause I know love is sometimes hard to figure out, but just know together we can make it somehow. You're like the sun that sets so far beyond the sea. You're out of reach, but trust that we were meant to be. Romeo never fell for Juliet the way I do about you.
Yeah, it's like the sequel to like Stay Forever for all those who know the first record. Like the sequel to that track. Yeah, very similar in tone.
I'll play a clip of it for sure. But yeah, no, he oozes positivity. He seems like he's completely like a legit guy. Doesn't get into any trouble.
Never. Check this out. Like you hear these weird things like on that podcast, like I was saying about how open they are, is that when we were talking about him being like the teen idol, he's another guy. And also he should like host American Idol because he was an actual idol. Like when Ryan Seacrest shuts it down, they should be Joey Lawrence stepping in those shoes. And he can sing, so he can answer some guests as well.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Thank you. And, but when he was 16, he was like probably arguably maybe the most famous 16-year-old kid in the world, or at least male 16-year-old. He was still sharing a room with his brother Matt, which I found fascinating. So I mean, that's probably why they're not getting in trouble, you know. They're still got those very hardcore family values about, like, I'm sure they had enough money for multiple rooms in their home, but they were still sharing just to kind of keep everybody grounded. I always thought that was kind of interesting.
Matthew is in a relationship with Chili from TLC.
Yeah, I've heard that, man. How wild is that? Yeah, Chili, man. Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, I love her. She's if you follow her Instagram, she does actually respond to people quite a bit in the comments on her posts as well. And she's very strict vegan, very much treats her body like a temple, takes care of herself. So yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, she's always been in shape. She's always had that 6-pack, huh? I
Well,
remember
that's
that
why
from back
she's
in the
always
day.
looks like she still looks like she's in like her early 30s.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like yeah, she could still like wear that exact same outfit she wore in the Waterfalls video, I think, and
Sure.
get away
Yeah.
with it. Yeah, like I don't think she's yeah. If anything, she put on more muscle, I think,
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's
yeah.
always it's a fascinating thing to hear them talking about that on the podcast.
So, yeah, I'm glad you gave some suggestions too of different singles and deep tracks that we can check out.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, like this is no joke. I mean, that's probably my top 5 albums of all time, and I'm not ashamed to say it. It just means a lot to me, and it always just makes me happy, that album, front to back. And I think it would surprise you if people are gonna dig into it. It's probably like I don't know, people like that kind of pop music. Like I don't know, I put that up against anything that came out around like 93 or that era when that record came out. I'll put it up against anything.
It was strong.
And
It
it's
was very strong.
yeah, and like I said, first record, the guy recorded it when he was like 14 or 15, and it sounds like so mature. Like you listen to those vocals, and it sounds like a 24-year-old just slaying it. So much soul as well. So yeah, I highly recommend people check it out. It's on the Spotify, and I'm sure it's on the iTunes as well. But
Yeah. And yeah, not only do they hold up, but so those are the two 90s albums, Joey Lawrence's self-titled debut and Soulmates. According to Wikipedia, he has two EPs, one called Imagine that came out in 2017 and Guilty in 2022.
yeah, Imagine, that was the one I think that had the cover of Ice Ice Baby on it. That it now on Spotify, it's just the single. I don't think it's no longer the EP, so I'm not sure
Okay.
what happened with the rest of those tunes. Unfortunately, that's maybe must be a rights issue or something like that with publishing. But
Okay.
yeah,
That's
yes,
very
well, thank you
possible.
for doing your research, man, and bringing that up for the people, man. Very cool.
Oh yeah, gotta give them all the details.
Yes, indeed.
2021, he had a single called Turtle.
Yes,
I don't know anything about it.
it's upbeat track. It's on the Spotify. It's on the streaming sites. Check it out. Tell you, man, this guy will scratch you right where you itch, man. I'm telling you, you're not afraid of this style of music, judging by your posts. So I'm thinking that you could take a deep dive into him.
Absolutely.
I think you'll really, really dig it.
Yeah, it's going into the Spotify. That's for sure.
Just go to the artist, hit random, man. Everything. You just circle his whole career, man. Daily.
You've been a great guest. I've really enjoyed chatting with you, Tyler. It's been really nice.
Yes, well, you've been a fantastic host. I mean, I know that we've been kind of following each other on the social media for a number of years. I'm glad we finally were able to kind of join forces here on the microphone.
100%. You'll have to come on again anytime.
Yeah, anytime. Absolutely. It's fun to kind of wax all nostalgic, as they say.
You still have that list of people too, that I'm sure the artist list. If not, I can resend it to you.
Oh yeah, no, I still have that. It's a lot of people made me smile. A lot of names on there. You definitely you have a very wide range for sure. You definitely got your finger on the pulse of 80s and 90s.
And you're absolutely welcome to bring up an artist that you would like to talk about.
Oh yes, if
that's not on the list, that's fine too.
Yeah, for sure. If something ever does occur to me, I definitely won't hesitate.
So yeah, maybe we can reschedule in the summertime, maybe sometime in August or something, because obviously I'll be away for a bit for the Magic Summer Tour. And then
how many gigs are you going to? Are you just going to the first show or?
So I'm going to the Chicago, Detroit. Then I'm coming home back. And I'm in Edmonton, by the way. Where are you?
I'm in Regina.
Oh, right. Perfect. Yeah. I've been there a couple times. My sister used to live there.
I've been to Edmonton a couple times as well. The WEM.
Yeah. Ooh, the mall. If you live here, you avoid it, but
really, it's it's the destination. Whenever we get there, we got to see like the little boat the big boat, I should say.
The water park, the Galaxy Land, all of it.
The rink. It's awesome. Yeah, can't believe you guys don't go there every weekend.
I work close to it actually, and I used to work in the mall, so I think that's why the thrill had died down a bit. But
wore off a little bit. Yeah,
they literally just the municipal government just passed a law saying you can't go to West Edmonton Mall if you're 16 or under without accompaniment by an adult.
Really?
Because of the amount of shoplifting and like stupid crimes and things committed by people in that age group. I was shocked because when I was that age, they encouraged us to go to the mall.
Yeah, we were mall rats, man. All of us. For sure.
But anyways, I was talking about, what was I talking about?
Magic Summer Tour.
Magic Summer Tour. Then I come home for a week. Then my buddy Jimmy and I, who's a radio morning DJ here in Edmonton.
Nice.
I don't know if you would get his show out there because they're starting to syndicate it. Anyways, we're going to California, so we're gonna go see them in San Jose and Sacramento, and then I'm getting a Paula Abdul meet and greet on that trip.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
I'm so excited to meet her. Oh.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I always equate Paula Abdul when I was in grade 8. My buddy Andy Lalonde, shout out to him if he's listening. He was a huge Paula Abdul fan, so I'd never not think of the two of them. You know, when I heard Paula Abdul, I never not think of him.
Aww.
He was all in. Yeah. Yeah, he was all in on Paula Abdul, man. So I'll never not. Forever Your Girl, man, and Rush, and he was all into it all, man.
Oh yeah, she was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I
liked her after that second record. Did she just instantly stop making music after
Spellbound? No.
Spellbound, yeah.
No, she put a third album out in I want to say it was 94.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Head Over Heels or something it was called, I think.
Oh, yeah, because it just seemed to fade away, like at least her popularity, and so for some reason, the Spellbound was still a big record, and then
I think it's the same that happened to everybody else. The music changed.
Yeah, grunge and all that, right? Yeah, 94. Yeah, tough time to put out a dance album.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited to meet her, and also I'm going to be towering over her because she's 5'2".
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I'm a tall girl. I'm 5'8". So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she does a lot of conventions and stuff like that too, like 90s conventions and Comic-Con, that kind of thing. She's trying to do more of those, which is cool. So meeting the people and all that.
Very, very cool. And she's kept up her chops. She's doing good. I can't wait to see her show.
Is she still singing mostly live? Do you know? Or is she just kind of dancing? Because those dancers, a lot of times they focus more on the dancing than the singing.
I think she sings live, but I'll be able to tell when we go see her show. Nice. I'll get to see her because we're doing 4 shows. So we'll get to see.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. We'll hopefully change up the set list for you guys, especially with the new kids stuff. Hopefully they don't stick to the same one every time. Hopefully make it a little more interesting for the hardcores and, you
never know.
Switch it up a little bit. Yeah.
It'll be fun no matter what. We always have a good time at the new kids events. And the best part about it too is that there's a core group of friends that like go to all the shows together. So we have this group that we made during the pandemic, basically.
Wow.
Online. And there's people from the Netherlands and Australia, all over the USA and Canada.
I like it.
And we all get together and go to the shows together. So it's wonderful.
Have you been on a cruise with the new kids? Twice. Look at that.
I went last year and the year before. And that was a real moment too on the 2022 cruise. I had this moment where everyone's partying on the ship and we're having fun, we're having drinks. And I just took this moment to look at everything happening around me and embrace it, because I was like, 2 years ago, this was only a dream to be able to even be around this many people.
Yeah.
But to have this seemed like a real celebration of the fact that we could live our lives again.
Indeed.
And
how like what is a cruise? Like what is their role? Do they just like perform one night and it just I just don't know what like one themed cruise is. I've never been on a cruise in general, let alone a themed cruise.
Yeah, they're the only cruises I've ever been on. But the thing is, you hear about some of the celebrity cruises and they do their show and that's about it. These guys new kids are pretty much involved in every aspect.
Oh, good for them.
There's events every day that they're part of.
Really?
They did like a beach Olympics. There is a concert. There is a meet and greet. There is a every night there's a themed party. And they're there for all of it.
And they're all in on. Good for them, yeah.
Yeah.
How many people are at a cruise? Like a couple thousand?
About almost 3,000 people on the Carnival. It was a Carnival Conquest. So that's I guess an average size ship. It's not like these massive ones they're putting out now, like the Icon of the Sea. Have you seen some of these cruise ships that are being created now?
Not the new ones, no. Just massive. Wow.
They got like whole full water parks on those things, man.
Insane. You wonder how things float, man. How does it not sink?
Science is crazy.
I know, isn't it? How did it not sink? Yeah, wild.
But yeah, thanks so much for your time today, and we'll do this again soon. I love it.
Love it. Thank you so much for asking me to be on the show and then providing me a list that has Joey Lawrence on it, because that was quite the thrill to be able to try to introduce and make a little converts out there for his records, because it's been a big part of my life, both those 90s albums. So I was glad to be able to discuss them on your show. Very much meant a lot to me.
Social media, yeah, we've got it. Send us an email, dopenostalgiapodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, Nostalgia Dope. Or on Insta, dope_nostalgia.
This podcast is licensed by SoCan because we believe that artists should be paid for their work. Hey friends, I kind of miss getting those messages on my answering machine like we used to back in the day. What I'd really love is to hear from you, the listeners of Dope Nostalgia. This is your chance to be on the show, giving feedback, telling us what you love, what you hate, and who you'd like to see more of. Call us at our new toll-free number, 1-888-741-9192. Leave us some feedback. Your message could be played on the show. So give us a call, 1-888-741-9192. Toll free.